Games come in many different forms. You've got your classic games that have you explore their massive worlds, games that put you up against other players in multiplayer battles, games that act more as interactive movies, and then you have games that are just weird. When I'm calling a game weird, it's not because I don't like the game. A lot of people draw the conclusion that weird means not normal, which in turn means bad. Weird just means something strange or unusual and difficult to explain, and that's a pretty beautiful thing if you ask me. When something is weird, it's already succeeded at being different from what you expect, ignoring the status quo. And that's what weird games are. Games that are just different from what is on the market right now. But you know that's just a surface level description of what I mean when talking about weird games, because the games that I'm going to talk about are just bizarre, and these weird games fall into two categories for being weird. The first is like a magician pulling out a rabbit from a hat. There is constantly something happening that subverts your expectations of what you thought was going to happen. The recent Super Mario Wonder and Super Mario RPGs fall into this category of weirdness. In Wonder, you've got these wonder flowers that drastically change the way you play the game, like turning you into a blob or just shifting the perspective of playing. When the RPGs, the story just go full bizarro mode. I mean, generally speaking, most RPGs made in Japan go nuts in this department and make some stuff just so dumb, funny, and expected. The Tidus laugh in Final Fantasy X, Mario and Luigi Dream Team has Luiginary attacks, Xenoblade 2, Teddy in Persona 4, or whatever outlandish moment Yoko Taro has cooked up in the near games. Weird moments are actually a bit similar to what you would define as a plot twist, in the sense that it just catches you off guard in what you thought possible. There's also the second way weird games are made, and those are games that are unsettling. Unsettling games are different from horror games. Although horror games are unsettling, they create a sense of fear, whereas games that are weird create this unsettling feeling that something is off. Doki Doki Literature Club, classic example of this. It's got the anime girls and in the style of a visual novel, but you do realize stuff isn't right, and then it just collapses in front of your eyes. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening also takes the same approach, just that the lingering feeling of unease isn't fully realized until you complete the game, just by how the quests and character interactions are designed. Although both these games also have lots of elements that I talked about in the first section, the biggest reason what makes them feel weird is not done through the surprising and out there moments, it's how they manage to use these moments to make you unsure about the grounds that you're about to tread, which pretty much sounds like a horror game, so maybe they are, but I mean, Remedy games are weird too, for the same exact reasons. They've got this very crazy way of creating events in their narratives, the lengths between them and when they get answered and then poses more questions, that's what makes them weird. But now, in this weird way of structuring this video, I can finally get to talking about the game that really made me want to make this video about weird games, because it's really just incredible. So, we have Animal Well. The game that I used as the thumbnail for this video. Animal Well is a game made by one guy, Billy Basso, and published by the great YouTuber Video Game Donkey under his Big Mode publishing company. I remember watching a video when Big Mode was first unveiled, with Donkey saying that they will only publish good games, and after a title like this, so far, so good. Although Animal Well can be described as a Metroidvania, it's a lot deeper than that. It takes a lot of design cues from survival horror games with its inventory management and combat encounters which aren't actually combat encounters, and a big one with knowledge-based games. Knowledge-based games are games like Outer Wilds and Tunic, where once an item or discovery clicks with you, the game opens and changes the way you view and play the game. Animal Well has lots of these moments, like figuring out that you can ride the frisbee by jumping on it to avoid pits, or the way fast travel is unlocked and works, and you get rewarded many of the times for these discoveries, finding secret eggs for more unlocks, new ways of traversal, shortcuts, or ways to deal with the animals, and a lot of the times these puzzles are deviously simple, but discovering it out on your own is just so rewarding. In my whole playthrough, I checked the guide once, because I was overcomplicating a puzzle, and the trick was a lot simpler than I thought, and other than that, it was always just as exciting as the last time whenever I solved a puzzle. But it's not just these eye-opening moments that makes Animal Well special, it's the overall crazy nature that encapsulates the game. It's got an art style that directly contrasts with itself, looking both very lo-fi and cozy to relax for a bit, with a gritty darkness that greets you with hostility. Every area in Animal Well has this distinct coloring to it, making them stand out and covers you with amusement and cautiousness. When I first stepped foot into the egg room, these colors engulfed the screen and had me taking it all in. Or an endgame area that I'm not going to show you on screen plays around with dark neon lights, with shadows and darkness that it's just eerie. And this contrast doesn't just apply to the landscape and areas of the game, but also to the animals. You've got capybaras chilling under a waterfall and cute chinchillas that waddle towards you. The wide range of friendly animals are always a welcome sight to behold, like seeing the squirrel as I continuously progress in the game, or the cute otters that were a pain to deal with brings the wonder and awe at the world and ecosystem that you're playing in. And this wonder also stretches to the hostile animals, like the dogs that pose a bigger threat despite being adorable, or the boss-like animals. When I said Animal Well had horror elements, it's through these animals where it comes forth. These bigger animals, like the wolf and ostrich, are menacing animals on their own with their stature, but I think it's highlighted further by enhancing their presence, which is done through its weirdness. The ostrich pokes down upon you, and its head chases you through the tighter passages underground, creating a very frantic frenzy as its neck stretches and claws after you, or the wolf that's just a ghost that chases you across the map when you interact with one of the shrines. Both these animals chase you in bizarre and crazy ways, but it's all very natural in the end, because it highlights their strongest elements. The ostrich's neck is long, so it makes sense for a smaller creature like you, the player, to fear it coming after you in small areas, or how the wolf can always follow you, because canines have this strong sense of smell when hunting their prey. So although the game has these crazy moments, they are weird but make sense given what we know about how these animals can act in the wild. Animal Well, although taking inspiration from other games, manages to remain one of a kind. Like, I have not played a game like Animal Well before, so I guess you could call it the first well-like. But jokes aside, it's like if you took Tunic, Super Metroid, and Resident Evil together in a blender, mixed them real good, and you get Animal Well. Its pixel art is one of the best I've seen, its music is not front and center, but it's present when needed, and man do I love the save theme, and its progression is wonderful. It's so different from anything on the market. It's weird in how it plays by messing around with its tropes, weird in how it surprises you with its mechanics and ecosystem, and overall, it's just bizarre in the best way possible. And that's what I think makes a weird game. A game that is just so different in both what you see on the surface and also on the deep end, and how they can change the way you come to expect in the situations a game puts you in. Sometimes games either fall into one side or the other of what makes games weird that I mentioned earlier, but then there are games like Animal Well that just take you on a ride that you don't experience so often. I'm really bad at concluding videos, so I'll just leave it at that. Weird games are pretty cool, and you should 100% play Animal Well. And with that, welcome to the end of the video. Thanks for watching all the way through to the end of the video. It really means a lot, and if you enjoyed it, a like, comment with your own thoughts on weird games, and a subscribe come a long way in helping the channel out. A dislike too is also appreciated, as it also helps me know what works or doesn't work for the future of the channel. Anyways, I've got some other stuff to take care of, so I'll leave it at that. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day, night, and week, and with that, Storm out.